Here's a chart showing the maternal mortality rate between 2009 and 2020 for women of different ethnic groups in England.
Black women are nearly 4 times more likely to die within that perinatal period. That is not a statistic in my eyes. That is my sister. That is my cousin. You know, that could be me. That's my friend. We have dehumanised black and brown skinned women in maternity services. We've completely detached ourselves from the reality of the repercussions of not addressing the issue.
This represents a larger issue in healthcare, an issue born out of poor communication, a lack of cultural understanding, and a service that doesn't inspire trust from the people who really need it. I want to share how deep this problem goes, the impacts it's having on black and brown skinned women, and also to provide you with some hope that there are some incredibly inspiring people who have made it their mission to change it.
I made a promise, and I'm going to keep that promise, that I will be your voice. You know, come through me, I will not let you down.
I fully acknowledge that I'm a white guy from Manchester, but I'm also a doctor working within the NHS, and so I form part of the service that is providing this problem. During my obstetrics and gynecology placement in medical school, we learnt about all of the different things that can affect you as a pregnant lady, about sepsis, about high blood pressure, about diabetes, among many other things. We were taught that these conditions can affect everybody, so I didn't understand why the outcomes for black and brown skinned women were so different to white women. I spoke to 2 incredibly inspiring people who are trying to not only understand this problem better, but to provide solutions to improve it in the future. I really hope that their message resonates with you as strongly as it did with me.
Without investigation, you cannot learn, and without learning, you cannot improve. And so there can be a cycle then of the same things happening repeatedly over and over again.
Okay, so firstly, let's try to understand this problem better. Here's a timeline of pregnancy. So we all know that pregnancy takes 9 months from conception to birth. But what you might not realise is that the perinatal period goes from conception to 1 year after birth. So I was really surprised by these statistics. The death rate during pregnancy itself is 14%. So that means that 86% of the deaths happen between birth and 1 year after birth. So what were the causes? Here's a graph that shows the maternal causes of death between 2018 and 2020. The earlier we detect many of these conditions, the better the outcomes. You see, we can treat sepsis with antibiotics, we can treat blood clots with blood thinners, and we can treat the cardiac risk factors with medications. In order to pick up these conditions early, we need to educate women on the red flags to look for during or after pregnancy that would make them need to come into hospital for treatment. And also we need to provide them with a service that they trust and they believe that if they come in, they will be listened to, they will be empathized with, and they will be comfortable in that system.
It's because if you don't see them, how do they know that they are respected, they are seen, they know that you have their best interests at heart?
That's Gemma Poole. She's a midwife and the founder of the Essential Baby Company that aims to bridge the gap between a marginalised birthing community and maternity services.
And it's nothing too drastic. I'm not asking you to change the whole maternity services. What women want and what they've been telling me is those little tiny changes. See me. If I can't see it, I can't be it. That is exactly it. So if they can't see themselves represented in posters, in leaflets, they know that that service is not for them. It is quite, apparent. You are making a stand saying you are not welcome.
None of the resources, none of the maternity information is in a language other than English.
We were also joined by Donna Ockenden, who's evaluating maternity services in Nottingham and trying to improve their safety and quality.
So it assumes a very high standard of written and spoken English, even to get, basic information about maternity care. Without having access to information in a way that is easily understandable, a woman can't give informed consent to the care she is about to receive.
Communication and education play a pivotal role in raising awareness of those red flags that women need to look for during and after pregnancy, but also in nurturing a trusting relationship between the healthcare professionals and the pregnant women. When that communication and that service that we provide isn't effective, it has huge impact.
I met throughout my career with many families where a mother has died, and we all know the central role that mothers play within our families, and the loss, the death of a young mother, there's no other way to describe it. It stays with a family forever. It never leaves you. 10 years after the death of a mother, perhaps where there's been a surviving baby, you have a 10-year-old little girl or little boy growing up without their mummy. You have a sister who has lost perhaps the person she was closest to, in her whole world. So we have to remember that loss and harm in maternity services goes on to affect families, forever.
We've touched so far on the importance of education from the healthcare professional to the patient, but education goes both ways. We have to listen to the service users, the pregnant ladies, to hear their experiences and to tailor the service to them, because the education from them to the service itself is such an important part of this process.
So these are the things that I always hear throughout the conversation. There will always be key words that we'll always hear, and Donna will always hear this as well. They didn't listen. They didn't hear me. They didn't take me seriously. They sent me home. When I raised concerns, they said that I was aggressive.
Without listening and without empathizing, we lose trust entirely. And that doesn't just lie in the patient-facing encounters. It also lies in reviewing how this service actually works and improving that service with the feedback of the patients.
But how can you improve a service if it's not hearing the voices of the people that are suffering the most? And it's a constant reminder of black and brown skinned women of why we are not valued. Our voice is not valued, our experiences are not valued, and our expertise in ourselves is not valued, because you're not coming to us and you're not asking us, what can we do to help you?
Donna and Gemma are working together to change and revolutionize that process entirely.
So we are looking at maternity services from 2012 up until the current day, with an aim to improve the safety and the quality of maternity services that are provided to all local communities, and to ensure that women on the ground feel that, first of all, their voices are heard. Secondly, that what they want to say to us is amplified. And thirdly, really importantly, that we do something as a result of what they're telling us. So they are all really important components, and all three of them must absolutely happen.
I made a promise, and I'm going to keep that promise, that I will be your voice. Come through me. I will not let you down. If you come to me, I can promise you every single word that you speak will go to that inquiry. And then and I believe that Donna will do her utmost in the review to make changes happen on the ground. So you will see this. It's not going to be in years and years' time. No. You will see this on the ground. So then if you have another baby, you will see it then. Your children will see it. Your sister will see it. Your cousin will see it. You will feel heard. And that is directly through your voice.
I hope that by seeing inspiring people like Gemma and Donna, who are really genuinely trying to improve this service, that it can provide you with some hope. You see, Gemma and Donna are acknowledging the fact that the experts in this field aren't sitting in a university or in a research lab. They're the women that have used this service. But to address these problems, they need your help.
Get involved. If you do not use your voice in this particular review, then we cannot influence change. So if you want to make changes in maternity services for your children and for your sister, your friend, your cousin, then this is the place to be.